Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, Force here, and today we'll be taking a look at new PC releases for the week of April the 22nd to the 28th. Starting on Tuesday, April the 23rd, we saw the release of Dead Island Riptide. This is not considered a proper sequel, but rather a spin-off of Dead Island. The game takes place on the same island as the original game, but just in a different section, and it features the same 4 characters with a 5th new character. Now, what I've been hearing about this game so far has been pretty negative. I haven't played Riptide myself, but the guys at Giant Bomb, which is a source that I trust, have said that it's more or less the same game with a few minor improvements and should have honestly just been DLC. Now, upon hearing that, I'm immediately reminded of Orion Dino Horde, the game that was basically just the re-released version of Dino Beatdown, which only had a few minor improvements and probably should have just been DLC. They're saying it's sort of the same case here, and especially given it's costing $40, you might want to wait for a Steam sale before you consider picking this up. Also on Tuesday, we saw the release of Don't Starve, the wilderness survival exploration game that is similar to Minecraft and Terraria in that you're scavenging the world for materials to build tools for survival. This game is developed by Clay Entertainment, the team behind Shank and Mark of the Ninja, and I really enjoy it. I took a look at this game earlier this week. There's a video right up on the channel. I also took a look at it a few months back when it was in the beta. This game has been in beta for quite a significant amount of time, and honestly, footage of Don't Starve is all over YouTube, so you can definitely get a good idea of what this game is all about. But it's fun. It's a fun little exploration game. It's got a really unique art style, very Tim Burton-esque, and I do quite enjoy it. And finally, for Tuesday releases, we have got Star Trek the video game. This is a co-op third-person shooter featuring Kirk and Spock that acts as a continuation of J.J. Abrams' 2009 Star Trek film. The game was developed by Digital Extremes, who also made Warframe and the multiplayer for BioShock 2, and I was a little bit let down. I think especially because it was developed by Digital Extremes and because they have made such a great third-person co-op shooter in Warframe. I had some high expectations for Star Trek the game, but I guess I shouldn't have, because it is it's a licensed game based off of a movie, and you get pretty much what you expect. It's not completely offensive, but it isn't really that great either. I would consider it a fairly mediocre shooter, and there's really no competitive multiplayer. Not that there needs to be, but the campaign seems fairly short. I'm about halfway through, and it's taken me about 4 hours. In fact, no, I gotta be honest, it's taken me about 3 hours to get about halfway through. So it looks like this game is gonna be around 5 to 7 hours total for $50 with nothing beyond that. Makes it sort of middling, sort of middle of the road, sort of average, and something, again, that you might want to wait on a sale for, unless you're just really into Star Trek the movie and want to see the game based off of it. Moving on to Wednesday, April the 24th, we're seeing the release of Monaco, What's Yours Is Mine. This is a co-op stealth game where 1 to 4 players sneak into buildings attempting to steal objects. The game features 8 classes, each with unique abilities and weapons, and this is being developed by Pocket Watch Games, an indie studio from California, who has worked on a handful of downloadable and casual games. Seems pretty interesting. You know, manage expectations. This isn't some crazy in-depth storyline. It's sort of an arcade-style co-op game. You sneak into buildings. Looks like it has some pretty interesting mechanics. I'll definitely be giving this a look and giving you my opinion in that video. And finally, on Friday, April the 26th, we're seeing the release of Poker Night 2, a digital game of Texas Hold'em featuring Ash from Evil Dead, Brock from the Venture Bros, Claptrap from Borderlands, and Sam from Sam and Max. This game is developed by Telltale Games. Yes, the Telltale Games who brought you The Walking Dead. It's just a fun little game, $4.99. If you like Texas Hold'em and you want to get some comedy, that will provide that for you. And then the last game on Friday is StarDrive, a top-down 4X strategy game with real-time combat that was inspired by Master of Orion and Escape Velocity. I'm not entirely sure if I'll have the time to go into this game, but it is a potential, so you might be seeing a video on StarDrive later this week. And that's going to do it for new releases on the PC this week. Let's go ahead and talk about my planned content. So far I've covered Eador, Masters of the Broken World, which was a release from last Friday. I thought that was a pretty decent game given its price point. I've also covered Don't Starve, Kairo, and Star Trek. Terribly disappointed by Star Trek. It was just completely average. Kairo was cool given you like exploration and puzzle solving, and I think Don't Starve is a great game as well. Coming up from this point forward, I will be covering Monaco, today's release, as well as potentially looking at StarDrive on Friday, But beyond that, that's basically it. I'm actually going to be tied up this week because I am trying to get my passport, as I've been invited to Stockholm, Sweden to take a look at Europa Universalis 4. So I'm going to be trying to get my passport, probably driving down to Boston at some point this week, which is a 4-hour trip from where I'm located up here in Maine. And if I do that, that's going to take an entire day. So I'm not sure when that will happen, but I am planning to do that at some point this week. And so that's why coverage might be a little lighter than normal. However, with that said, I still have some things waiting in the wings that I could put up videos for. I will be looking at Marvel Heroes, which is sort of like a Diablo game set in the Marvel universe. It's supposed to be an MMO as well. And then Neverwinter, of course, we've got the early access to the open beta, which will be happening this week. And then I've got a back catalogs of games that I planned to take a look at in the past but never got around to. And some of that stuff will sort of creep up in these slower times, such as what we're seeing at the later half of this week. And then, of course, we've got Friday Night Magic, and then the Force Feed Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I guess that pretty much does it. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, keeping you up to date on new PC releases for this week, as well as my planned content. If you like the content, please subscribe. And as always, keep watching and keep owning.